Well, a record-setting night for the Tigers. Remember all those predictions that the bounty scandal wouldn't affect the Saints? Don't match any offer a team throws Eric Gordon's way. No more locks and no more bars as the NFL lockout officially comes to an end. They've beaten 8 top 25 teams to get to the national championship game.
If you like defense, you should have liked that game. LSU holding up to their end of the deal.
But Les Miles has been perfect, 29-0, and they've won those games by an average of 29 points. Yes, people, we call that a winning streak, which will be their first since 2009. Well, it was a valiant effort by the Southern Jaguars after trailing 27-3 in the third quarter. Kind of weird to have a Thursday game, but it's not the first time the Southern Jags play one of these. They certainly want to keep teams from crossing this goal line if they want to get back to the 2009 championship level defense they had.
It is a beautiful evening for baseball in Baton Rouge here at Ellingbox Stadium.
How y'all doing?
It's another spring weekend in South Louisiana.
We expect a near-record crowd
as Tiger fans pack the box for what feels like a special season.
Katz pops out to third, and it brings up Ray Bryant.
They're also witnessing potential history.
Rhymes leads the nation in hitting at .497. There's a little blooper out into right center field, and it's going to drop in for a base hit.
Rhymes has more multi-RBI games this year than strikeouts.
He is the purest hitter that I've ever seen.
If I sat here and told you, yeah, I expected Rafe to hit 500, I'd lose all credibility.
The history surrounding Rafe Rhymes' journey to Baton Rouge goes back to 2008, when he was a different type of Tiger, a Neville Tiger.
Growing up being a Tiger at Neville, I knew I always wanted to come to LSU.
Wally McMakin, good friend, told me that there was a young man that was going to be trying out for the team and just asked me if I would just make sure that I gave him a good look. So I had it in the back of my mind when I saw Rafe at practice that this was the boy that Wally McMakin had told me about.
Maneri didn't offer Rhymes a scholarship, instead inviting him to try out as a walk-on.
I was a little unprepared, didn't have baseball pants, showed up in shorts, and just went through the tryout.
And he must have done something right.
Coach asked me to come back and practice, with the team for a couple weeks.
But his lifelong dream would not last long. Maneri cut Rhymes after only a month.
That was the first year that the new 35-man limit, roster limit, was put into effect. And so really, I couldn't even give a walk-on a good look.
Didn't really know how to accept it at first. When somebody tells you, you can no longer play, that hurts.
Did you question whether or not if you should still be playing baseball?
Yeah, I just kind of, when that happens, when you're told you can't play, maybe this is, what's in store for me. Maybe I'm not meant to play baseball. Maybe God has something else for me, playing for me in life.
Meanwhile, a national championship was in store for the team that cut him.
I was like, man, how awesome would that be? I could have been there. It's just something, that's a little bittersweet.
Rhymes spent that year just as a student, but that would change in the summer of 2009.
I'm at the beach. I get a call from a number that I don't know, and it's Coach Willis from LSU Eunice. Now, I knew right then that was my chance, to get back into baseball.
He kind of weighed his options and made a phone call back to us and said he would love the opportunity, and then he decided to come over here.
Rhymes earned his stripes as a Bengal, batting .483 with 98 RBI en route to JUCO National Player of the Year honors. He also led his team to a Division II Junior College National Championship.
He had Nintendo numbers is what I call them, something that's just absurd. It was almost a year that we would watch him play, and you couldn't really believe it was actually happening.
The Player of the Year, that was great, but to go over there and win is something, I'll never forget.
But his love for Tiger Town still remained, and a few months later, Rhymes received another call at a familiar place.
I was at the beach, again with my family. We were just, having a good vacation. It was a call from Coach Maneri, and it kind of, caught me off guard. On my way back from the beach, I stopped in Baton Rouge and had a meeting with Coach.
And what was said in that meeting, and what was it like?
Just kind of talked about my year at Eunice. It was a real good meeting, just got to meet with him again. It was great. Then at the end of the meeting, he offered me a scholarship.
Rhymes hit .360 in his first year with the Tigers, but LSU failed to make a regional. However, that was the least of his worries. Rhymes needed Tommy John surgery on his right elbow.
That was pretty tough, I'm not gonna lie. I had never dealt with, an injury. I didn't really want to miss any fall ball or anything. I knew that was gonna set me back, but I knew it was best for me, so the doctors encouraged it and I went with it.
Blessing might be an understatement. This season, Rhymes has done the undoable, hitting .503 so far. he's on pace to shatter the school record of 4.10 set by Russ Johnson in 1994 and is chasing Dave Magadan's SEC record of 5.25 in 1983.
I don't like to look at the stat and say, oh, I'm hitting this or, whatever, but, the stats are something that's happened in the past.
It's a scary, scary thought to think where we'd be without Rafe Rhymes.
But Rhymes is more concerned with filling a void from 3 years ago, winning a national championship. Not looking on as a student, but as a player, contributing, contending, competing.
Personal goal is lead the team to Omaha. Winning is the ultimate goal. It's always been a goal of mine. I'm not big into the personal goals. Definitely leading a team to Omaha would be the biggest goal.
It was miss after miss for Marcus Thornton. Just 3 for 12. But when his number was called late in the game, of course, he answered with a dagger from downtown.
Oh, Marcus Thornton, he lives for moments like this.
Once I caught it, I kind of feel like, it was good. I'm just grateful that it went in.
He can be out cold for a moment, and even when he's on the floor struggling, I got to stay with him because you don't know when that moment's going to happen.
And Smart knows that Thornton is no stranger to knocking down the big shot.
When he's not around, we struggle from that department as far as the toughness standpoint, and someone who's willing to take a chance on a shot. I look at some of the shots he takes, and I say, you shouldn't be shooting so many contested threes or contested jump shots. But then you look at it, he ended up making those shots.
Another former Terra High and LSU standout had a good start to his career here in New Orleans, averaging around 11 points a game, and Thornton actually still holds the Hornets franchise record for most points in a quarter with 23. But it was about a year ago when number 23 was shipped off to Sacramento in a trade for Carl Landry. And all Thornton has done is score 18 a night and earn himself a new 4-year, $31 million contract before the start of the season.
Being a guy that, never had too much of nothing and being able to, provide for my family a little bit now, is always great.
I've known Marcus when he was a little bitty boy. His parents, his mother goes to the same church that my parents go to. From watching him, you know where he comes from. You know the humbleness of him, his family, and he's just a worker. He's had to work his whole life to get into a position to go to college, work his whole life to get himself in a position to be a very productive player in the NBA.
He's been, motivation for me, ever since he got here. He's a player coach, he's hands-on, and, he's just there for whenever you need him.
Sharief Ishaq, WAFB 9 Sports. Well, Saints safety Roman Harper said black and gold fans might be ready to jump off the bridge after their loss to the Washington Redskins. I know, maybe a little too early for that, but Harper is letting them know, hey, just grab a rope. We got you guys. And he's not letting one game against the Redskins affect the rest of the season, although RG3's rookie debut was simply turned into a Pro Bowl/Drew Brees-like performance against the Saints D. Now this Sunday, they're getting the same type of dual-threat quarterback in Cam Newton when they hit the road for Carolina to face the Panthers. Newton threw for 300 yards last week against Tampa Bay, but his team lost. And at times, the former Auburn Tiger struggled to get the offense going for his team. Malcolm Jenkins wants to make sure that struggle lingers into their showdown. Well, with LSU linebacker Taj Jones officially done for the season, some of you are wondering how big of a blow is that for the Tigers defense? Yeah, it hurts, but maybe not as bad as you think. That's one spot where the Tigers have some serious depth. A boatload of freshmen who've already made an impact through the first 2 games. Deion Jones and Quan Alexander are the 2 making the most noise and biggest hits. Alexander 5 tackles and Jones with 4. Also, junior Luke Muncy made his presence felt against Washington with a couple nice tackles. Altogether, 4 Tigers ruled academically ineligible. DJ Welter, Tyler Edwards, and Evan Washington, along with Jones. Just a long list of players that won't see the field in 2012. All right, time to break out the old school LSU video. Well, if you call it 98 old school. This is the last time LSU took on Idaho. The Tigers routed the Vandals 53-20 back on September 26, 1998. It was essentially the Kevin Falk show, vandalizing the Vandals for 178 yards and 3 touchdowns. They could be seeing the same type of game Saturday night. The Tigers with the same type or even better running attack from 14 years ago. The ground game accounting for 7 of LSU's 10 touchdowns this season. Just part of the depth that Robbie Key and the Vandals will have to deal with this weekend. And tonight at 10, we'll show you our Week 2 winner for Sportsline Player of the Week. Some good choices, including Central running back Gary Triplett, who had 200 all-purpose yards against St. Thomas More. 2 scores, including the game-winning TD. Stay tuned at 10 for that. More news after the break.